Every single day presents two choices: to be in control or to be controlled. Some people wake up and let the world decide how their day will go. Others take charge, shape their reality, and move forward with purpose. If you want to conquer your days, you need more than just ambition. You need rules, guiding principles that make success inevitable. Here are 5 rules that will change the way you approach each day. Every day, people wake up and dive straight into their routines, checking their phones, rushing through emails, or scrambling to get things done. They take action, but without direction. It's like getting into a car, stepping on the gas, but having no destination in mind. Sure, you'll move, but will you actually get somewhere meaningful? This is where most people go wrong. They confuse movement with progress. They mistake busyness for productivity. But if you want to truly conquer your days, you must start with intention, not just action. Intention is what separates those who simply exist from those who truly live. It's the difference between being busy and being effective. Imagine 2 people in the same job. One wakes up and goes through the motions, completing tasks, responding to emails, attending meetings, but without a deeper sense of purpose. They get things done, but at the end of the day, they feel drained, unsatisfied, and unsure of whether they actually accomplished anything meaningful. The other person, however, starts their day with clarity. Before diving into work, they take a moment to ask, what's the most important thing I need to achieve today? How does this align with my bigger goals? That small shift changes everything. When you start your day with intention, you become more focused, more strategic, and more in control of your time. Instead of reacting to whatever comes your way, you proactively decide what deserves your energy. And here's the most powerful part. When you're intentional, your actions carry more weight. You begin to move with purpose rather than simply going through the motions. Think about the most successful people in the world. They don't wake up and let the day decide what they'll do. They don't let distractions dictate their schedule. They take control. They define their priorities before the world does it for them. Whether it's an athlete preparing for a game, an entrepreneur building a business, or an artist working on their craft, the most accomplished individuals always start with clarity. They know what matters and they focus on that relentlessly. But how do you cultivate intention in your daily life? It starts with asking yourself the right questions. Instead of waking up and immediately thinking about your to-do list, pause, take a breath, reflect. Ask yourself, what do I want to accomplish today? Why is it important? How does it move me closer to the life I want to create? These questions force you to go beyond surface-level tasks and connect your actions to a greater purpose. Another key to setting daily intentions is understanding that not everything deserves your attention. In a world full of distractions, it's easy to get caught up in things that don't truly matter. Endless notifications, minor inconveniences, or other people's expectations. When you start your day with clear intention, you train yourself to say no to what doesn't serve you and say yes to what truly aligns with your goals. Some of the greatest breakthroughs in life come from the moments when you stop acting on autopilot and start living deliberately. When you stop chasing things that don't align with your purpose and start focusing on what truly moves the needle, that's when real progress happens. That's when you stop feeling like time is slipping through your fingers and start feeling like every moment is being used to its fullest potential. At the end of the day, success isn't just about how much you do. It's about doing the right things. It's about making sure your efforts are directed towards something meaningful. When you wake up tomorrow, don't just take action for the sake of being busy. Pause, set your intention, define your purpose, and then with clarity and conviction move forward. Because action without intention is just movement, but action with intention is power. Most people believe that motivation is the key to success. They wait for that spark of inspiration, that moment of excitement that pushes them into action. But what happens when that feeling fades? What happens when you wake up tired, unmotivated, and uninspired? If you rely on motivation, you'll only be consistent when you feel like it. And that's the problem. Motivation is temporary. It comes and goes like the wind. If you want to achieve anything meaningful, you need something stronger, something reliable. You need discipline. Discipline is the difference between those who succeed and those who don't. The people who accomplish their goals aren't necessarily the most talented, the most gifted, or even the most passionate. They are simply the ones who show up every single day, regardless of how they feel. They do the work even when they're tired. They push forward even when they're uninspired. They understand that success isn't built on moments of excitement, but on consistent effort over time. Think about an athlete training for a championship. They don't wake up every day feeling excited to train. There are days when their body is sore, when they're exhausted, when the last thing they want to do is step onto the field or into the gym, but they do it anyway. Not because they feel motivated, but because they have made a commitment. They have built the habit of discipline, and that habit carries them through even the toughest days. The same principle applies to every area of life. Writers don't finish books because they feel inspired every day. They do it because they have the discipline to sit down and write even when the words don't flow easily. Entrepreneurs don't build businesses by working only when they feel passionate. They do it by showing up, making decisions, and putting in the effort day after day. Students don't earn degrees by studying only when they feel like it. They succeed because they develop the habit of discipline, of studying, learning, and preparing even when they'd rather be doing something else. Discipline is about making a choice. It's about deciding that your goals are more important than your temporary feelings. It's about committing to a process, not just a result. Motivation focuses on the outcome, the excitement of reaching the goal. But discipline focuses on the action, the steps you take every day to get there. So how do you develop discipline? It starts with small daily commitments. Too often, people think discipline is about making massive sacrifices, but it's actually about consistency. It's about proving to yourself that you can follow through no matter how small the task. If you commit to reading 10 pages a day, over time you'll finish entire books. If you commit to working out for just 20 minutes, you'll build the habit of exercise. If you commit to waking up early, you'll develop a stronger morning routine. These small actions build momentum. And once discipline becomes a habit, you no longer have to rely on motivation. You just do it. Another key to discipline is removing the need for decision making. The more choices you have to make, the more likely you are to give in to excuses. If you decide in advance that you will go to the gym at 6 a.m., there's no debate when the alarm rings. If you decide in advance that you'll spend the first hour of your day working on your goals, you won't waste time deciding what to do. Successful people don't leave their actions up to chance. They create systems that make discipline automatic. At the end of the day, motivation might get you started, but discipline is what keeps you going. It's what turns dreams into reality. It's what separates the people who wish from the people who achieve. If you want to succeed in anything, your career, your health, your relationships, you need to stop waiting to feel motivated. Instead, commit to being disciplined. Because discipline is what will carry you through when motivation fails. And if you can master discipline, you can master anything. Life is unpredictable. No matter how much we plan, prepare, or try to control everything around us, unexpected challenges will always arise. The truth is, most people spend too much time and energy worrying about things they have no control over. What others think, how people behave, unexpected obstacles, or mistakes from the past. They stress over situations that are completely out of their hands, allowing frustration, anxiety, and fear to take over. But here's the reality. Success, happiness, and peace of mind come from mastering one simple principle. Control what you can and let go of what you can't. The moment you understand this, everything changes. Instead of wasting energy on things beyond your influence, you redirect your focus to what actually matters. Your actions, your mindset, and your response to the world around you. This shift is powerful because it gives you back control over your own life. The people who thrive, no matter what challenges they face, are not the ones who try to control everything. They are the ones who focus only on what is within their power. Think about the most successful and resilient individuals. They don't waste time blaming others or complaining about circumstances. Instead, they take full responsibility for what they can do. If something goes wrong, they focus on finding a solution instead of dwelling on the problem. If someone treats them unfairly, they don't let that negativity dictate their own actions. They move forward with confidence and integrity. They know that while they can't control everything that happens, they can always control how they respond. One of the biggest sources of stress in life comes from trying to change things that are simply out of our hands. You cannot control other people's opinions. You cannot control the economy. You cannot control the weather, traffic, or every single challenge that comes your way. But you can control your work ethic, your mindset, your decisions, and your reactions. The sooner you accept this, the more freedom you gain. You stop being a victim of circumstances and start becoming the creator of your own destiny. Take two people in the same difficult situation. One spends their time complaining, frustrated that things didn't go as planned. They let their emotions take over, feeling powerless and stuck. The other person, however, immediately shifts their focus to what they can do. They ask themselves, what's the next step? How can I adapt? What lesson can I learn from this? The first person stays trapped in negativity, while the second person moves forward. The only difference? One person tries to control the uncontrollable, while the other takes charge of what they actually have power over. Letting go doesn't mean giving up. It doesn't mean you stop caring. It simply means you stop wasting energy on things you cannot change and instead focus on the things you can. When you do this, you gain clarity. You make better decisions. You stop feeling overwhelmed and start feeling empowered. This principle applies to everything: your career, your relationships, your personal growth. If you spend your time trying to change people who don't want to change, you'll only feel frustrated. If you obsess over past mistakes, you'll only hold yourself back. But if you shift your focus to improving yourself, taking the right actions, and responding with strength and wisdom, you'll always move forward no matter what happens. At the end of the day, life will always be full of uncertainties. But you have a choice. You can waste time fighting what you can't control, or you can take charge of what you can. The people who succeed, who find peace, who create meaningful lives are the ones who choose the latter. So stop letting the uncontrollable control you. Take responsibility for your actions, your mindset, and your future. Because when you focus on what you can control, you take back your power. And that is how you truly win. How you start your morning determines how the rest of your day unfolds. The first hour of your day is like the foundation of a building. If it's strong, everything that follows stands firm. If it's weak, the entire structure is at risk. Yet too many people wake up and immediately go into reaction mode, checking their phones, responding to emails, rushing through breakfast, and barely making it out the door on time. They start their day in chaos, and as a result, the rest of their day feels rushed, unproductive, and stressful. But the most successful people in the world understand one simple truth. Win the morning, win the day. The way you spend your morning sets the tone for your energy, mindset, and productivity. If you start your day with clarity, focus, and purpose, you carry that momentum with you. If you start it with stress, distractions, and disorganization, that's exactly how the rest of your day will feel. This is why having a strong morning routine isn't just a nice idea, it's a strategy for success. The key to winning your morning is being intentional with how you spend it. That means not letting distractions, notifications, or other people's demands dictate your first moments of the day. Instead, you take control. You decide how you want to feel, what you want to focus on, and how you want to prepare yourself for the day ahead. One of the most powerful ways to do this is by starting your morning with silence and reflection instead of noise and urgency. Too many people wake up and immediately reach for their phones, filling their minds with social media, emails, and news before they've even had a chance to think for themselves. Instead, imagine taking a few moments in the morning to be still, to breathe, to set your intentions. Maybe it's through meditation, journaling, or simply sitting in silence with your thoughts. This practice helps you start the day on your terms rather than letting the outside world dictate your mindset. Another crucial part of a winning morning routine is movement. Whether it's a full workout, a short stretch, or even a quick walk, moving your body in the morning wakes up your energy, sharpens your mind, and prepares you for the challenges ahead. Physical movement doesn't just benefit your health. It trains your brain to be disciplined, focused, and resilient. What you feed your mind in the morning is just as important as what you feed your body. Instead of mindlessly scrolling through your phone, imagine starting your day by reading something that inspires you, listening to a motivational podcast, or writing down your goals. Successful people don't leave their mental state up to chance. They choose what thoughts and ideas they allow into their minds. Winning the morning also means planning ahead. One of the biggest reasons people feel overwhelmed during the day is because they wake up without a clear sense of direction. They jump from task to task without knowing what's truly important. But when you take just a few minutes in the morning to plan your top priorities, you set yourself up for success. You don't waste time on distractions. You don't feel lost or scattered. You move with purpose. But here's the thing. Winning the morning doesn't mean you have to follow a rigid, time-consuming routine. It's not about waking up at 4 a.m. or following a one-size-fits-all formula. It's about being intentional with your first hour no matter what time you wake up. It's about choosing habits that energize, focus, and prepare you for the day ahead. Because when you own your morning, you don't just set yourself up for success, you set the entire tone for your life. Each day becomes more productive. Each goal becomes more attainable. And instead of simply reacting to life, you start creating it. So if you want to change your life, start by changing your mornings. Because when you win the morning, you win the day. Growth is not something that happens by accident. It is not a matter of luck, and it certainly doesn't come from simply going through the motions of life. Real growth, the kind that transforms careers, strengthens relationships, and builds extraordinary lives, comes from a relentless commitment to becoming better every single day. The people who achieve the highest levels of success aren't just talented or lucky. They're the ones who refuse to settle. They push themselves beyond their comfort zones, seek out new challenges, and never stop learning. If you want to achieve more, become more, and live a life of purpose, you must be relentless with your growth. Too many people get stuck in the mindset of good enough. They reach a certain level in their careers, relationships, or personal development and decide to stay there. They stop learning, stop challenging themselves, and start coasting. The problem is, in life, you are either growing or declining. There is no standing still. The world is constantly evolving, opportunities are always changing, and those who refuse to grow eventually get left behind. Being relentless with your growth means committing to continuous improvement. No matter how much success you've already achieved, it means constantly seeking ways to expand your knowledge, refine your skills, and strengthen your mindset. It's about embracing discomfort because true growth never happens inside your comfort zone. Every time you push yourself to learn something new, take on a difficult challenge, or step into the unknown, you are growing. And with growth comes new opportunities, new possibilities, and a greater sense of fulfillment. One of the most powerful ways to be relentless with your growth is to adopt a mindset of lifelong learning. The most successful people in the world never stop learning. They read books, listen to podcasts, attend seminars, and surround themselves with people who challenge their thinking. They understand that knowledge is not just something you acquire in school. It is something you must seek every day. If you want to stay ahead, you have to keep learning, evolving, and adapting. But growth is not just about knowledge. It is also about action. You can read every book, listen to every expert, and consume endless amounts of information, but if you don't apply what you learn, it means nothing. Growth happens when you take action, when you step out of your comfort zone, when you try new things, when you fail, learn, and try again. Being relentless with your growth means having the courage to take risks, make mistakes, and use every experience as a lesson for improvement. Another key to relentless growth is seeking out challenges instead of avoiding them. Most people see obstacles as barriers, but those who are truly committed to growth see them as opportunities. Every challenge you face is a chance to become stronger, smarter, and more resilient. The moments that feel the hardest, the times when you want to quit, those are the moments that shape you the most. Growth is not supposed to be easy. It's supposed to test you, push you, and force you to become better. Being relentless with your growth also means choosing the right environment. You become like the people you surround yourself with. If you spend time with people who settle for mediocrity, who complain, who avoid challenges, it will be easy for you to do the same. But if you surround yourself with people who push themselves, who strive for excellence, who are constantly improving, you will be inspired to do the same. Your environment matters. And if you want to grow, you must choose to be around those who challenge and uplift you. At the end of the day, the choice is yours. You can settle or you can push yourself. You can stay comfortable or you can chase growth. But if you want to live an extraordinary life, if you want to unlock your full potential, you must be relentless. Never stop learning, never stop improving, and never settle for anything less than the best version of yourself. Because when you commit to constant growth, there is no limit to what you can achieve. True leadership is not about power, status, or authority. It's about impact. It's about the ability to inspire, uplift, and make a difference in the lives of others. And the most powerful way to lead is through gratitude and service. The greatest leaders, the most respected individuals, and the people who lead lasting legacies all share one thing in common. They don't lead for personal gain. They lead to serve. They understand that leadership is not about what you can take, it's about what you can give. Gratitude is the foundation of great leadership. When you lead with gratitude, you shift your focus from what you lack to what you have. Instead of constantly chasing the next achievement, the next milestone, or the next reward, you recognize the value in what's already in front of you. You appreciate the people around you, the opportunities you've been given, and the progress you've made. This perspective changes everything. Gratitude keeps you humble, it keeps you grounded, and it reminds you that success is never just about you. It's about the people who have helped you along the way. But gratitude is not just about feeling thankful, it's about expressing it. Leaders who practice gratitude make sure that people around them know they are valued. They take the time to acknowledge hard work, to appreciate effort, and to celebrate progress. They understand that a simple thank you can make a difference. That recognition inspires people to do more, to give more, and to be more. When people feel seen and appreciated, they perform at their best. Leading with gratitude is powerful, but it becomes even stronger when combined with service. Service is what turns good leaders into great ones. The best leaders don't ask, what can I get? They ask, how can I help? They look for ways to support, guide, and uplift others. They understand that their role is not to be served, but to serve. Service-based leadership is about putting others before yourself. It's about making decisions that benefit the team, the organization, or the community, not just yourself. It means being willing to do the hard work, to listen, to support, and to put in the effort to make things better for everyone. The leaders who make the biggest impact are the ones who are willing to roll up their sleeves and lead by example. They don't just tell people what to do, they show them how it's done. One of the greatest aspects of leading through service is that it creates a culture of trust and loyalty. People follow leaders who care about them. They respect leaders who put their needs first. When you serve others, you build deep, meaningful relationships. You create an environment where people feel safe, supported, and empowered. And when people feel empowered, they rise to their full potential. But leading with gratitude and service is not just about leadership in the workplace. It applies to every part of life. Whether you are leading a team, a family, a community, or even just yourself, the principle remains the same. Gratitude keeps you humble and appreciative. Service keeps you focused on making a difference. Together they create a leadership style that is not only effective, but deeply fulfilling. At the end of the day, leadership is not about titles or recognition. It's about the impact you leave on others. And the leaders who leave the greatest impact are not the ones who seek power, but the ones who serve with heart. They lift others up. They express gratitude. They make the world better, not just for themselves.